Hello guys, welcome to the Code to Coffee. And today we are going to learn MongoDB. What is MongoDB? MongoDB is a NoSQL database designed for storing, managing, and retrieving the data in a flexible, scalable, and high-performance way. So instead of using table and the row like traditional SQL database, it uses the document. So document will be stored into the collections, and collection will be in the databases. Okay, so what exactly is MongoDB? So MongoDB is a document-oriented database, meaning whatever we are storing the data, that will be in form of the document. So document will look like this. Okay, so instead of having ID, name, role, skills in a column way, we'll have a document way. So that's why we can add any field. Let's say here ID, name, role, skills. We can have the address. We can have the um, like what is the manager, like that we could add. So that's why it's a very flexible. We could have one um, field, or we could have multiple field, right? So that's why we say it schema less. So no fixed schema. We could have a name, age, or we could have a name, email, city, everything. Okay, and it's a high performance, right? Fast read write. Indexing does support the indexing, so that the retrieval will be in a fast way. Optimized for the large data set. So if it is a large data set, we can shard our memory, our database, so that only particular document we can retrieve. Okay. So horizontal scalability. What is the meaning of horizontal scalability? We also say sharding. So we can scale across multiple server easily. So let's say we have this kind of document, right? So ID. So we can start based on the ID. So all ID one will be stored into the one shard, and ID two will be stored into the another shard. Okay. So now if we query related to ID one, that will be always the request will be always going into the shard one. Okay. So that will give us the horizontal scalability. Okay. That's mean whatever number of document we can add, and we can split into the multiple servers easily. Okay, that's perfect for the big data and high traffic app and microservices architecture. Microservice architectures, like each service has its own database. So why this is helpful? Because one service could be one shard, and other service could be using the another shard. So that's why it helpful for the microservice architecture. And the rich query language, so it does support a lot of query language, like filtering. We can filter based on the any field. We can sort uh, based on any column, or based on any field. Aggregate, we can also do like count, some that kind of aggregation. Also full text searches, like we can simply give like, okay, we want name like something, so it could give the all the name which fulfill that uh, search. And geo query, so based on the list, let's say we have something, any field related to any geography. Okay, so based on that geography, we can query the documents. Okay, the MongoDB architecture is like same as I explained. The document we can consider as a row that will be in the collection, and collection we can consider as a table. If we try to compare with the SQL, we can consider it as a tables, and all the collection will be in the database, right? For example, if we have the e-commerce DB, which is nothing but the database, within the database we could have the collection, the user. So, and in the user we could have multiple documents. So document one, this document two is, right. So let's do one thing. Let's code it out to just understand how it does work. Okay. So for that thing, what we need a MongoDB instance, right? And what we'll do local run. We'll run the MongoDB in a locally in a Docker. Okay. Let me do the terminal and VS Code. Here we can create one file, a Docker compose. Right? Here we'll give the configuration of MongoDB. Okay, run on the local Docker. Here the configuration that I'm going to use here, nothing but I'm just giving the name of the container name local, which will be we are also exposing the 27017 port for accessing our MongoDB. Okay, and the volume is the Mongo data just for the persistent perspective. Okay, let me run this Docker compose. Simply write Docker started running. It is till the time what we'll do, I will try to, okay, we have the index.js. Here we'll write some code to access the data. But for that thing, what we need uh, MongoDB to be installed, right? So let's do npm I our MongoDB instance is running on the Docker. See the terminal. Take this. Now in index.js, we could write something. Copies code. What we are doing here, we are taking the Mongo client, we are creating the client, and we are trying to connect with that client. And the test.db STP, we are creating one collection, the user, and inside the user, we are just simply inserting the name and the skills. Once it is sorted, we are printing like it's inserted. Okay. So for that thing, we can open a MongoDB Compass, disconnect. Okay, here we are using the testing. So we need to create this test DB, then we need to create the user with the DB, then we have this. Okay, let's run this index. Yes, so it got inserted, right? Let's see. So just refresh it. So you could see here one test DB is created. Within the test DB we have user. So one user got inserted. Let's do one thing as we discussed that okay, it is the flexible database. So can we do something like this? The role is nothing but developer. Okay. Run. Got inserted. Let's verify. Yes. Here you could see the role is got inserted. So that's mean the flexible schema, right? So there's no any fixed schema that we need to follow. That is the one of the property of the MongoDB. Here also we have the indexes. So we can create any index. Let's say I am creating index say name, and we can say anything like this. I can create like right. So if it is the name is you know, index, that's mean if you try to create the same name, okay, it should give the error. Let's try this. It, right. Okay, it's not unique. So what you can do first, create a unique index. You cannot create a unique index of things to it got failed. Why it got failed? Because we have the name is everywhere is the same. So let's first delete, try to insert, create it, create it. Let's run this run. So it sorted, I got in. So again try to sort the same data, same name, we should get the error, right? So duplicate key error because we had created an index for the name. So what if I'll give the name as a something else there and file, right? And we'll try to run this. This time it got created. Right? If we verify, now name is Ansari. So this is how we can interact with the MongoDB with the MongoDB package. Okay, let's do one thing. We'll create one small project. Okay, to understand the CRUD operation. Okay, so what we'll do, what we are going to do is we are going to create one Node.js. We are going to run a Node.js server. We'll be using the Express, okay, to create the endpoint or the API. Okay, and that Node.js is going to use the Mongoose. Mongoose is nothing but a ORM. Okay, what is Mongoose? Check here. Mongoose. So Mongoose is okay is for the EV. Yeah. So ORM actually Mongoose is a object data modeling. So ODM, the library the Node.js. So what it does, it helps to interact with the MongoDB. So instead of writing, create and those command, Mongoose does provide a lot of SDK that helpful for interacting in the MongoDB. Okay. So what you're going to do, you're going to create a Node.js server with the help of the Express framework, and within the Node.js server, we are going to use the Mongoose library to interact with the MongoDB. Okay. Let's go to the VS Code and we'll code it out quickly. So for that thing, first of all, we'll create our DB configuration and simply write like db.js. Here we'll give the configuration of the D. Also need right to npm this. Okay, so we could have something like we'll get Mongoose, help of the Mongoose. We can connect with MongoDB, the user DB, then just say udb just for this tutorial. Control there, and once it got connected, we can simply Mongo connected. If it is not connected, we can exit from the program. Okay. This we will do. Then what else we can do? We can create one model. Okay, model a it user dot dot create like. So we need to create. We need to get the define the schema. Although this is not a mandatory, but we want to just say key. Okay, in our schema we should have a ID, name, and email. That's it. What we want, and this schema we can use for creating the model. And this model we are going to use for the CRUD operation. Right here in the index.js, we can write some code. Okay, so paste it here. Here, what I did here, I did, was we have just installed the Express, right? So we go package.js. Here we have this Express we are using for the creating the server. This is nothing but we can install for the status. We'll take the user model, then we connect the DB. For connecting the DB, just we can create an app from the Express and we can listen on 8080. And this is the CRUD operation where we are going to say, okay, if we are giving the post request on the user path, we should able to create a user, and if we are retrieving with the help of ID, we should able to get the that user. And if we are saying that okay, we want to get request, we are saying the get request on the user, we should have the all users, right? Similarly, if you want to update some user, let's say we are trying to update some email or some name, we can use the put method, the user path, and that also have the delete by passing the ID, and that's it. And this code I'll be sharing. Or let's run this one, and what will it say? Text. So our is connected. So ours at 80. Let's test it. If you go to the postman here, so first we need to create the user, right? Like this. Currently, we let's see whether we have any. Okay. So we don't have any user, but we want to create. Let's go to the go compass. See whether we have two TV is created. We don't have any user yet. What we'll do? Create a user. Okay. So ID is for name is any name we can give. Email we can give, right? So I'm just the name to and the email equal to email, and this should be created into our MongoDB. So if we try to refresh, can you see we are able to create? Let's create few more. Uh, so we'll say okay, name three, 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 right? Three. Okay. Eight is good. Then five, create five, six, six. So seven. Okay, I think we have column. Try to see all the data and see. And we want to just retrieve only one. I want to retrieve for the six user. So here you can see like, and we want to delete this one. What you can do, just delete that and delete. It got deleted. So here we cannot see the six. Let's do the get request whether we are not getting in this that got deleted. And let's say we want to, you know, something post, want to update some data, right? So let's say update this one. Update any, let's say we are trying to update third. Okay. So updated name and say three, updated email we can say three, right? Let's just update. Here it got updated. We can verify by and click query the card user. The updated name and updated email. You can also go and check in the compile. You can say the ID thought is got updated. Okay, so that's all about the MongoDB, how we can use the mouse as well for you know, interacting with the MongoDB. Either we can just simply use the MongoDB uh, library, or we can use the Mongoose. So Mongoose, if you are trying to use Mongoose, that will be helpful for doing the lot of query or the update or mutation, because Mongoose provide a lot of SDK to interact with the MongoDB. So that's all, guys. So much.